not going to do this on my own. Man, my bestie, come sit here. I'll tell the animals what you're going to do and how your lives are going to be. And you give them their names. And of course, man said, of course, I'm sitting right here and I'm going to do that. And the animals made a huge queue and they came one after the other. The first animal to come was the donkey. And when the donkey approached, well, the donkey didn't have a name then. So when this animal approached with short ears and quite healthy and a short tail and strong legs, God looked at the animal and said, you look quite strong. And you know what? You are going to be the beast of burden for my friend here. Man, you're going to carry all his burden. You're going to carry all the heavy luggage, and you will only feed from what he gives you. And man sitting there said, you know what? You look like a donkey to me, so your name is going to be Donkey. And God looked at Donkey and said, well, Donkey, you will live for 50 years. And the donkey said, God, I have no problem with the kind of life you've given me. I will gladly do it. But just imagine, 50 years of carrying heavy luggages. That's a bit too much. Just give me 25. I said, all right, okay, 25. That's very fine. Go ahead and live your life. The next one to come was another animal that was much smaller than donkey. It had a tail that went from side to side and it was saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Aha! And when the animal came, God looked at it and said, you look quite interesting, yeah? Your work will be to look after man and whatever man has. So you are going to be the watchman of anything that man, possesses. And, man looked at this animal and said, your name is going to be?
Dog.
To be dog, exactly. And the dog said, all right, sounds like a cool life. So how many years do I live? And God said, 30 years. How is that for you?
Jeez.
And the dog said, 30? Hey, my G, well, I have no issue with the life that I'm going to live, but 30 is a bit too much. Just give me 15. I'm good with 15. And God said, all right, 15 is your life. And of course, the different animals came, and the last animal came. It was jumping from one tree to the other tree, and it was, and even before God could say what this animal would do, man said, you are a funny one. Your name is going to be?
Monkey.
To be the monkey, yes. And God said, you have made my favorite creature happy. And so your life, soft life. No hard work. So your life is going to be a comedian. You are going to be making man laugh. You're going to make tricks, you're going to make faces, just make him happy.
Right.
And I think, with this kind of life, you don't really mind living for 30 years, do you? And monkey said, hey? Okay, well, first of all, I have no issues with my life, But do you know how hard it is to make people laugh?
Yeah.
30 is too much, just give me 15. And the monkey went and lived his life. And finally, it was time for man. And God said, man, my favorite creature. For you, a life of bliss. You build a house, you live in it.
Yeah.
You have a farm, plant your fruits, your orchards, you enjoy it. And you're going to be Lord of all the animals and all the plants. And you have 30 years. What?
Right.
30 years?
Yeah.
Oh, man didn't take it very kindly. No, I God, we were chamchezo. 30 years? That's too little. That's too little. Now, 30 years, I built a house, and before I start enjoying myself, I have to die. I can't even enjoy me. 30 years is too little. Give me more. I want more years. And then God said, okay, well, you can have the 25 that the donkey refused. I said, that's very kidogo. 30 plus 25, 55. God, add me some more years. I said, okay. You can have the 15 that the dog refused.
Yeah, let's top up.
Okay, 55 plus 15. And that's still not enough. Give me more. And God said, hey, wait, I think tumeza kuzoeana. Now, I will give you the 15 that the monkey refused and nothing more. And well, you see, just like man wished, is exactly the same way he lives his life today.
Right.
The first 30 years are easy. He's exploring, he's doing this, he's doing that, He's living an easy life. Then he turns 30 and he gets into his donkey years. doing hard work, having to work for everyone else and not for himself, And he does this until he's 55. And if he is lucky to go after that, then he gets into his dog years. Dog years of fear, I'm almost getting to retirement.
Wow.
I have to consolidate everything that I have. And I'm looking at everyone suspiciously. Like, what are your intentions? Do you want to come and see the bond that Stakio Mchezo? And in case you manage to go past the dog years, then you enter into your monkey years. You're now a grandfather, you're a grandmother, and you spend the rest of your life hopping from this house to the house, making laughter, making games, and making your grandchildren laugh.
Fantastic. What? There's a lot of lessons to learn from that story. And it's also, I like how you've made it very relatable. You know what I mean? You've also tapped into the story from the Bible. So, okay, those are my words. But why is that your go-to story?
I think for me, the first thing is that stories are human.
Yeah.
That's why it's very easy for humans to relate to stories. Yeah. And the other thing is that I prefer for people to pick things for them in the story that they have learned. So rarely will you hear me saying, so so the moral of the story is I don't go that way. And if, maybe sometimes a client is like, no, we need to learn the morals, I will ask, so what have you learned from that story?
Okay.
So Kev, what did you learn from this story?
I learned that you have to be content with what you have. With whatever you've been given. When you ask for too much, it might end up working against you.
But also that when you actually ask and are willing to go the extra mile, are you also willing to live with the consequences?
I love that. Exactly. I don't know if I'm ready to be a monkey. My later years. But it's fascinating. Let me ask you something. Is there a specific Kenyan storyteller that has amazed you? And they don't have to be a professional storyteller. It could be a politician. It could be somebody in the arts, like maybe an actor or something like that. Somebody that you're like, wow, this is the ultimate Kenyan storyteller that I've actually been with or experienced.
I think you're talking about, if we talk about oral storytelling performance, then, nobody in Kenya, actually in the whole East African region, the name Odero Agan will always come up because he has basically trained like almost everyone that I know, both in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia as well.
Yeah.
And also, I have to mention also Alumbe Helen. She's amazing. And these are the guys that I basically sat down and talked to, learned from when I was learning storytelling.
Yeah.
But also look at Kenya. I think we have amazing storytellers. One of my most charismatic storyteller is the late Raila Amolo Odinga.
I was going to say that. I was going to ask you, by the way, why do you think he stood up for you?
Because he relates very well with the audience.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing that is different between storytelling and, let's say, a play.
Right.
Is that when you're in a play, is that you are actually on stage and the audience is like peeping through a peephole to look at your world. But when you're doing storytelling, is that it's a shared experience. So if you don't build a rapport with your audience, really, the story is not going to work.
So Raila used to like doing this thing for football. Kalonzo na mpira, anapatia Balala. Balala anapatia Weta na mpira, anarudishia ma-DVD anapatia Jo. The crowd goes crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
He had a signature.
I know.
He's gonna do that, and he's gonna do a song.
But exactly.
And you just know, like, you don't really. He's not predictable that you know what to expect when he's gonna stand up and talk.
Yeah.
But you know very well that he's gonna do something that is gonna make me relate with him. He's gonna do a song. If I'm at the coast, I'm like, hey, this is actually this is it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the marks of a good
so as a storyteller, you need to have your thing.
Exactly.
When we started this conversation, you said you got to be unique. What's your thing?
I think for me, it's that I'm very conversational.
Oh, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell.
And so the biggest thing is that getting to the audience and telling them, this is actually not my thing. So yes, I'm the one who knows things here.
Yeah.
We're going to do this thing together.
Yeah.
The conversationalism and, getting to engage my audience. I always try to engage my audience.
One thing about Raila, though, is for certain folks used to say that he wasn't as articulate. But funny enough, he stood out as a great storyteller. How do you balance the two? Because there's some people who, they're not so good with words. They might not know, they might not be the perfect English speakers in terms of grammar, but, they're very charismatic. So how do you balance the two? Yeah, when you, obviously, you don't sound as good. But, yeah.
I think one of the things about storytelling is also, like I said, leaning onto what works for you. So him, charisma worked very well for him, relating with the audience. And also some of these things, you don't begin to be a storyteller and you're good at it. Actually, you won't believe it. When I began doing storytelling, I grew up in Nakuru.
Yeah.
And I had a proper Kikuyu accent.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So, I remember my very first show, rehearsing my very first show at Allianz, and I was rehearsing and I had my R and L's and the gun was like, so every time I made something, I was like, oh my God,
Not again.
What is going to happen if I do this in front of an audience?
Yeah.
And I remember him telling me, you need to learn how to laugh at yourself.
Oh, wow.
If you laugh at yourself, the audience is going to laugh with you and not at you.
Beautiful.
So it is to find out. And also, by the way, who said that art has to be perfect? Who said that if I'm a storyteller, I have to be the perfect storyteller? That I have to be a very great actor?
Yeah.
Some of these things is also about, are you also feeling what you're saying? Are you enjoying yourself? Then the audience will go with you as opposed to someone who's like, I'm here to deliver my perfect story.
Yeah.
And, you're there, you sit there and see my brilliance. Is that also art doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
So please don't feel like, if you want to be a storyteller and, my grasp of English or Swahili of my mother tongue is not really perfect. You don't have to go there.
Yeah.
And also tell in the language you are most comfortable with.
Right.
That's something else.
You don't have to speak English.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Amazing.
Yeah, if you tell in Kissy, tell it. And that's actually a thing they'll be like, you want Kissy stories?
Yeah.
That's the guy you
That's the guy for the Kissy stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for parents listening tonight, what's the one thing that they can do? We kind of touched on it, but I guess you can clarify, in order to raise more imaginative and emotionally intelligent kids.
Tell stories to your children. Tell them stories. And sometimes I find parents are telling me, but I don't know any stories. And if you're like me, you're a millennial parent, sometimes you didn't grow up listening to stories yourself because maybe your grandparents were very busy doing this and that. Read for them books.
Okay.
And I know that a lot of times as parents, you want to delegate this kind of work. It's like, okay, I'll buy you books, you read. Like I said, children is monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Buy that book, sit there and read with your child. Make it interesting. Allow them to ask questions. By the way, CPS mtihani ati, so what have you learned from it? Any new vocabulary? Please.
That's fascinating.
Make it
That's
fun.
funny.
Make it fun. Read the story with them. And also, after that, answer any questions they have. Go at their pace.
Go at their pace.
And you might realize that some kids have a story they love. They'll ask for it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Don't get bored.
And how do you instill a reading culture in your kids? Because I also know there's benefits of reading. Because you mentioned you love fictional stories. You like to share fiction. I love reading fiction as well. How do you make your kids learn to read, especially these days? Because there's this whole debate of kids are too digital.
Monkey see, monkey do. Like I said, I am raising my kids in a digital world. My kids absolutely love reading, and it's also some of the
like physical books.
Yes, we do physical books.
By
I am a physical books person. I love physical books, and it's also some of the things that we do at home. Like I say, unless you've seen darkness, the TV should not be on. So they need to get things for them to do during the day. So they'll get games, they'll get books, they will read, and also as a parent, please read. If you have to, fake it. Let them see you holding that book there, reading it. Because if you're not doing it, it'll be just like, okay, they'll also do it when you're there. Like, Mom has said you go and read. Dad has said you go and read. I'm going to hold the book. That's it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that you also need to do is to expose them to the world of books and literature and stories. And we are lucky nowadays that also some of the stories that we also have, it's very easy to also meet authors, especially in the major cities. The authors are there. When us guys were growing up, we were reading, Akina Heidi, Akina Famous Five, with the names of the authors are very foreign. That you didn't even start thinking about, when I grow up I could be an author, because you didn't see any Wangari or Otieno or Kipchoge on the book cover. But immerse them into the world of reading, and also create a culture around it. And please also, I think as parents, especially in the urban areas, we love planning for our kids almost to every minute. Like you do this and then you do this and then you do this. Please allow your children to get bored, because when they get bored, they learn by themselves what to do with their time and what they have around it.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's amazing how you said there's always communities for literature. All these book clubs, that's really good. Yeah, and to be honest, I've just joined a few communities, just to listen to conversations, and it's fascinating. But the good thing, I've always been an avid reader, especially, like I said, fiction books. Now, what's the one story you think every Kenyan child or pretty much reader, people who are fascinated about awesome stories should engage with, should grow up hearing, should learn about? Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be a bit selfish here and say, you know what, you should actually go and pick my book, one of my children's books.
Yeah.
And not because it's my book, but it's also an amazing book. It's called The Forever Tree.
Oh, nice.
And it's also one of the stories that I have been telling, I think, the last 20 years. It's one of the stories that also all my audiences receive very, very well. So it's a book version of it, which is, of course, it's quite different from the storytelling, the oral version of it.
Yeah.
Please go and pick The Forever Tree.
What's it
by
about?
Wangari Grace. It's about it's about a tree that has a very tongue-twisting name.
Oh.
But it is the tree that gave us all the different fruits.
Nice.
So it's about a journey of different characters going to try and find that tree, and also realizing that, you have to really focus on what you're going to do, as opposed to bragging about the things that you're good at.
Yeah.
I'm amazing at this, and you forget, okay, no, but the focus was on this. Yeah.
That's amazing. When did you write this book, by the way? When was it published?
That was my very first book, published in the year 2012 by Story Moja Publishers.
Nice.
And it's still one of the favorite books, I think, even for readers.
Yeah.
One of the books that I think people identify with me.
Yeah. Right. Amazing. What legacy do you hope your stories would leave in the minds of the next generation? That
learning is actually fun.
Okay.
Because even when I'm doing my shows, one of the things I actually say, if you're going to say I have a priority of 3 things. The first thing is fun. The second thing is fun. Then learn something from it.
Yeah.
Because I believe that when you're actually enjoying yourself, you learn things much, much better as opposed to when you're told, sit here and learn.
It's true.
So I hope that, whether it is my books or my storytelling, that people have the curiosity to explore the world, to go out of their comfort zones, to know people, to know cultures from different places. And to do all this exploration from a point of wanting to know as opposed to wanting to compare or wanting to judge. I hope that is actually what I would love to live.
Wanting to know. Curiosity, for me, that's what it means. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Once again, you can tell folks about your event and how they can be a part of it. Yeah, because I really love the idea. 20 counties, you said.
Yes, so 20 counties, 20 events in 20 counties, one for each year. And I am actually putting this out to all my listeners out there, to people who know me or who want to know me or who love stories or who would love to hear my stories, because I don't really have a clear cut of saying I'm going to this county and this county and this county. I would like you guys, wherever you are, to invite me to your counties and tell me, hey, Wangari, we have a local library where if you came there, we will bring our families to come and listen to storytelling. Or you say, actually, my kids' school, I'll actually go and sell the idea and you can come over there. So please, if you're out there and you feel that stories, have a big impact on humans, on humanity, you would want to listen to more of Wangari the storyteller. If you're an individual, if you're a parent, if you're an organization who is into the arts, into the culture, please get in touch with me. I would definitely love to partner. And also, if you are an artist who is out of Nairobi and you work either with story or you write or you work with music, get in touch. I would love to co-curate events with you in your county, and we can do the thing together.
And how can they get in touch?
I'm very available on social media. So if you're on Facebook, look for me, Wangari the Storyteller. The same thing on Instagram. You can also send me an email at tales and more ventures @gmail.com. Tales as in stories, TALES, and more ventures @gmail.com. And if you really, really want to find my number, it is somewhere online. You will find it. Send me a WhatsApp message and say, hey, this is so-and-so. I heard you talking about this. how can, I have this idea, how can we do it together?
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through, Wangari Grace.
You're very welcome, and thank you, Kev. This has been really nice.
Exactly. We really appreciated your presence over here. Remember, guys, it's all about stories. Why stories matter. Yeah. We're, of course, rebuilding imagination in a digital generation, and I hope you learned a thing or two. That was, once again, Wangari Grace. She's a performance storyteller and a children's author. We're keeping it moving with some Aretha Franklin, Bridge Over Troubled Water. It's 9 minutes after 8. Tunde kazi.
94.4 Spice